Hey guys, today we will finally talk about ASI, as the first part of the merger of 3 AI projects has already been successfully completed. We can already see the result of the transition, the price, and the reaction of the public and crypto exchanges. That is why today it will be very interesting. We will talk about where they made a mistake, why Coinbase did not support the transition to a new token, and why they are getting a lot of hate right now. What is in store for holders and what plans the project has, and much more. So be sure to watch this video until the end. You will find it fascinating and most of all, useful. So subscribe, hit the like button, and let's get started. First, I would like to talk about what has already happened and analyze all the processes of the transition from FET to ASI. After all, there have been a number of illustrative and interesting moments. I cannot help but point out that we knew about the merger back in March. We were promised that we would see new details at the end of April and the merger itself in May. At the same time, they did not give any announcement or any information, and all the token holders were just waiting for at least something. We talked about all this in several videos about ASI. But then they finally started to give dates. We finally learned that the combination was planned for mid-June. And then, just 2 days before the scheduled date, they decided to postpone the event for almost a whole month. This caused a lot of hatred towards them. Even among my subscribers, there were many haters of this attitude of the project towards the owners and the whole event of the merger. And for my part, I understand these comments perfectly, because when a founder says that they want to create the most unique product possible, with no alternative on the market, it's quite strange to see constant problems in communicating with the audience. Either they don't give any details about the announced merger, or they postpone the event due to technical difficulties. Of course, this attitude causes a lot of hate, and now that they have already switched from Fetch to ASI, and some centralized exchanges have even converted OCEAN and AGIX, there is even more hate. And there are many reasons for this, because instead of coming out on June 13th, when the market was quite positive and we saw almost $70,000 for 1 BTC and the most positive sentiment on altcoins, they came out this month, which was as negative as possible from the beginning. It is clear that it is not their fault that the negative factors in the market coincided with the merger, but one way or another, they were the ones who pushed the combination to those dates, and the holders certainly do not like the fact that instead of starting on a positive note, everything happened as differently as possible. The second major reason was the fact that, at the time of the merger, many people did not understand what to do, whether their exchange supported the conversion of these tokens into ASI. On the project page, they wrote that all centralized exchanges that have Fetch, Ocean, or AGIX should automatically do it. And this is where most of the red flags start for me personally. In the end, the project just deleted those posts, and the reason for the deletion is as silly as possible, but let's not be unfounded. I will add screenshots of this post. You can see the same screenshots in my last video about ASI, which was released on the eve of Fetch's migration to ASI. And that was the biggest mistake ASI made, because they used the migration to solve all the problems with the exchanges, to solve all the technical problems. Then they explained how the process would work, showed a roadmap of these events, even made a detailed guide on what to do with your tokens in different situations. However, in fact, they did not agree with anyone, and some exchanges did not have the necessary information from the project until the last moment. And a great example is Coinbase, which simply refused to do the merging process on its platform. This is the strangest approach of the artificial superintelligence team, because they did a lot of transfers, talked about amazing technologies and how well they work, but in fact did not even solve all the problems with centralized exchanges. A lot of holders were left without a clear understanding of what to do. A lot of holders are sitting at a huge loss, and some are even selling at a huge loss. Needless to say, even I still hold all 3 tokens and have a good minus on this portfolio. However, I cannot say that I am very disappointed, because I have a clear vision of my goal and plans for this portfolio. But let's talk about that later, because I want to tell you my strategy for the next steps. Right now we can see that we are still in the first phase of token migration. That is, all the centralized exchanges have already changed the name from FET to ASI, and some have even converted to Ocean and AGIX. And now we can only wait for the other centralized exchanges to convert. But for this, we need to clearly understand which exchanges are actually planning to do this. because we all know the story with Coinbase. Unfortunately, I was not able to find any official statements with a list of centralized exchanges supporting the switch, but I did find the following posts. Bybit is supporting this transition. KuCoin is also participating in this process, as well as HTX. And of course, Binance is one of these exchanges. Even more so, Binance are the main partners in the merger process. They even held a session together at AMA, where they talked about the future of the project, the merger process itself, and much more. However, I would like to highlight the fact that the ASI team has once again done a terrible job. People do not understand what will happen to their funds and what they should do right now. They used to have clear guides, but the team decided to just remove them. In addition, there is no clear information about other exchanges. And for me in particular, this is once again a very big red flag. This kind of communication and attitude towards this event is not the norm. By the way, if you have stored your tokens in wallets and not on exchanges, you can easily convert them on the project's website. You can easily find the link to this site on ASI's Twitter profile. To summarize the current events, now we just need to wait for the first stage to be completed and analyze the team's further actions. If you hold tokens on wallets, you will have to convert them yourself. If you hold them on the exchange mentioned above, you don't need to do anything else. Now let's talk about my strategy. I want you to clearly understand that the current market is a rather difficult phase to go through. We have seen a lot of manipulation, black swans, and many other negative factors, but absolutely no one was ready for the current market correction. A good example is me, who has a negative position on these 3 tokens. The most important thing is to have the right attitude towards the situation, the right strategy, and to understand the reasons for the decline and the possible reasons for further growth. Every time we see the same situation, plus or minus, the market grows a little bit, reaches a peak, stays there for a while, and then there is a decline and the beginning of a bearish cycle. This is the simplest possible explanation of cycles, but roughly speaking, this is how it works. Only the conditions and events change, but in general, this is how it works every time. Now, many investors are making the mistake of thinking that a bear market has begun and they need to liquidate their assets before it's too late. But everything works the other way around. We haven't even seen the actual bull run yet. We're just at the beginning of it. The drop in interest in crypto and the corresponding drop in prices in the summer is a norm that repeats itself year after year. That's where the famous phrase, "sell in May and go away," comes from. So while everyone panics and sells when prices fall, we should be working, filling our portfolio with tokens at low prices. However, for me, I decided that this is not relevant for ASI, Ocean, and AGIX, and I will not buy back this drawdown. I don't like the way they have worked together, the way they have implemented the merger process, and the way they are communicating with the community. That's why my strategy here is to hold the token until the market stabilizes. That is, as soon as I see bullish sentiment in the market, as soon as I see conservative price points that I like for the ASI token, then I will think about selling. I see no reason why the price shouldn't rise in a positive market. After all, despite all the shortcomings, the teams are quite strong. Their technologies are also strong, and the AI trend is still leading in all financial markets. So in that sense, growth is inevitable. But we will not see the steep price points that we had planned because the reputation of the project has already been tarnished. But once again, I want to emphasize that growth is only a matter of time. However, I would like to remind you that this video is by no means financial advice. This is just my vision and thoughts on the market. So always do your own research before investing and invest wisely. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the growth of coins. Thanks for watching, your Coin Post.